Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or a yes there. Just let me know that it is indeed working. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning so far. Hopefully your Tuesday's going well. Awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Just want to welcome everybody here. Also want to give a shout out to those of you who are new with us in the program. If you are new, let us know in the chat box what state or what country you're from so we can welcome you here. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get started. As always, I need to remind you guys about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. So make sure that you're going through that process each and every time that you take a trade. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Let me pull up our journal here and we can go ahead and we'll go ahead and update our COT report trades for the week. Let's start with leverage funds. Let me go ahead and get this loaded and go over there. Okay, let me pull up my apps because I got my trades open right here. Let me pull this up. Last I checked, I don't know where it is right now. Last I checked, we were doing pretty good. Yeah, we're doing good. Okay, let's go ahead and update this. So USD CAD, this one is down right now though. I've got two trades that are down. This is one of them. This one's down 14 pips. My USD yen trade is up 128 pips right now. My USD franc trade, this is the second one that's also down. This one's down 25. That's my worst trade at the moment. Pound CAD is up 65 pips. And my pound franc trade is up 22. So right now from leverage funds, we've got a total of 46 pips after losers. This pound yen is already closed. I'm going to mark this in red because it's already done for the week. But the rest of these are still open. I got 3 winners and 2 losers right now, still open. And for a total of 46 pips on leverage funds, so not too bad. When it comes to shift trades, this is where I'm at with shift. Let's start with the euro yen. Euro yen right here got 113 pips, so huge improvement from yesterday. Franc yen is up 80, nice improvement from yesterday. USD yen short, I've got 127 pips. Euro kiwi, I'm up 93, nice improvement. That's a differential of over 120 pips on the euro kiwi. CAD yen short, I'm up 79. And the Euro Aussie, Euro Aussie short, this was down 20 yesterday. Today is up 33. So nice differential there too. So that's a total of 525 pips across the shift trade. So really nice start to the week. I think these were actually up a little bit more about an hour ago. I went and did, like I was telling you guys yesterday, I do my morning routines. And I checked those trades before and they actually looked pretty good. And they still look really good. I was just up more, so that's one of the problems with checking your trades multiple times a day is you never know what you're going to get, right? Sometimes you'll be pleasantly surprised and excited. Sometimes you'll be like, dang, I was up more, right? So, but no, this is good, right? 525 pips on shift trades. That's a huge improvement from last week. Last week was not fun. We did lose 396 pips on those trades, and this week up. One thing I want to note, I think this is a good spot to note this. I get a lot of people who join the program, and when I tell them about the 6 or 12 trades that we take a week, and a lot of people ask me, well, hey, isn't that some pretty good diversification because you're taking lots of different trades? Yes and no, but mostly no. Okay, let's talk about why.
Hey traders, it's Steve from the future. I hope you have enjoyed this video so far. If you are getting value out of this video, be sure to hit the like button, click the subscribe button, and share your trading thoughts. I read all the comments, so feel free to ask any questions you have there too. On a side note, I host live trading calls like this one you are watching every day. Some of my biggest trading secrets I share exclusively to just the members in my program. I host these live trading calls every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I also host a basic training webinar every Monday for the newer traders and the regular COT report and sentiment trading webinars every Wednesday night at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern for the advanced and aspiring traders. All of these calls are recorded and promptly posted on the members' trading calendars at the conclusion of each call in case your schedule does not permit you to come to the live call. All of my members have complete access to the scanner. We call it Steve Scanner. This is an institutional grade trade alert scanner that picks the direction of the week on all 28 major currency pairs and includes trading instruments like gold, silver, NAS 100, US 30. Just in the last 90 days, I have made over 3,000 pips just taking the top trade signals from the scanner at the beginning of the week and then just holding those trade alerts until Friday. If you want access to the scanner, you can start a 14-day free trial with the join link in the description to get started. Lastly, if you really want to be a full-fledged VIP member of my program to get access to things like the basic training course, live signals channel, Steve's scanner, trading calendars, and the one-on-one calls with me throughout the month, you can use code Friend of Steve, that's Friend of Steve, no spaces, at checkout and save $50 on your first month. Again, just click the link in the description below and apply that coupon to become a VIP member, and I look forward to helping you with your inevitable trading success going forward. Now, back to the video.
So mostly no, because look at last week compared to this week. This week, you have all winners. Every single trade's a winner, right? Last week, every single trade was a loser. So is that diversification? I wouldn't say so. That doesn't sound like a diversified strategy. And that's okay, because in trading, this might sound kind of weird to some of you if you haven't been trading a while, but diversification is not what you want when you're trading. The whole goal with trading is to create an income, and you don't make an income when you're diversified. You preserve wealth when you're diversified. So you'll often hear like a financial advisor, when you go to them, they'll tell you to be diversified. And that's great advice. That's awesome for somebody who's trying to preserve what they've already created throughout their life in their 401ks and IRAs and real estate transactions and things like that, right? That's fantastic. Not going to deny that. But like I was saying, in trading, it's kind of a different story, because in trading, we're actually trying to pick the right direction. We're trying to get in the right moves with the market and be in sync with what's happening. And so you only do that by kind of exposing yourself one way and then trying to leverage the other way, right? That's not always, you're not always going to be right though in that process. This week we happen to be, I mean, so far it's Tuesday morning, right? But this week we happen to be completely in the right direction. Pretty much just totally in tune with the market. Last week was not so. The week before that, we were very much in tune, the week before. There are some other weeks, like you can look at this week down here back in October, where you did have, let's see, 1, 2 losers and 4 winners. So, you know, I guess that, like, what I'm saying is it's not a complete diversified strategy where if everything or if everything's going to win or everything's going to lose. Sometimes you are going to have weeks where, like that one about 4 weeks ago, where you're going to have some of them be winners and some of them be losers. Those are kind of nice. And, you know, especially if they're wind up winning weeks, and then, you know, you have a following week where everything just wins. But I do want to make sure it's very clear when you guys embark with the COT report strategy, and really any trading strategy for that matter, because all trading strategies are designed to put you in the right direction of the market. And subsequently, when you go one way, the opportunity cost is you can't go the other way, or you can't benefit from the market going the other direction, right? So, you know, it's just not something, it's not designed that way. So when you come and trade the COT report, please recognize that concept now. Like I'm telling, or if any of you are watching this in the recording, same thing, just recognize that that is the nature of the beast. So when the beast giveth, it's a full-blown feast, right? It's kind of appropriate this week that we're having a really good week with Thanksgiving coming up, right? But the opposite was the truth last week, you know? And this kind of stinks, because I feel like a lot of new folks who don't understand that concept, they see a losing week like that and they just say, oh, the whole thing just, this obviously doesn't work. But the reality is, in trading, our whole goal is to limit the losers. So we did a good job with that last week. I mean, obviously it would have been nice to limit these even more, but we did cut these off. It would have been nice to cut these off maybe a little bit sooner on some of them, but hindsight's 2020, right? But we did. Job well done last week. That is part of the job, is to cut losers, right? That is very much part of the job, and it stinks when it's happening, right? It's not the vibe and the webinars are different, right? Now here we are just days later from that not so fun week on Friday. Here we are, overcoming that, not just overcoming it, but coming back with more, right? So just that's all of it's part of the job. Part of the job is holding on to winners. Part of it is cutting the losers. The other part is getting in the right direction when it's the time to get in the right direction, using your lot size calculator. All of everything's required to make this awesome. But anyway, just really, really cool. Let's actually head over to the scanner. Let's see if anything's changed on the scanner. Probably not. Well, COT report stuff hasn't changed, I'm sure, obviously, but the sentiment may have changed. Let's see if there's anything changed over here on some of these signals. Let's go by shift first. Yeah, a lot of these sentiment signals are still stuck in their directions. These sentiment signals are often aligned with more of the longer term direction. So this euro yen sell this week, franc yen sell, USD yen sell, these are actually somewhat what we'd call longer term counter trend moves. It's because the USD yen's actually been going up for some time. For the last several months, it's been going up. You've got the euro yen that's also been going up for several months. And then now you just have some pullbacks on those, and the COT data put us in the right direction just at the right time to do that, to take part of that. The sentiment is more of a confirmation tool. So when you guys are reading the scanner week to week, I definitely would regard COT data a little bit more. Obviously, if you can get sentiment to align with your signal, then I'd feel a lot more comfortable. Especially, let me put it this way: when you're reading the scanner, let's say you find a signal where maybe the shift data is not as big as like one of these up here, where it's up in the 8s, 9s, 10s, or even higher percents, right? This is the biggest shift of the week. For reference, if you're brand new to the scanner, it's a minus 10.59% shift. That's a pretty big shift. In fact, for those of you that are kind of new, what I regard as a big shift in the scanner would be something like a 6, a 7. Honestly, I'd say more like a 7 gets you. I mean, 6 or 7 is fine, but when you start to get to 7, 8, 9, 10, those are really significant shifts, and higher. I've seen shifts as high as like 23%. We had a week where one of the shifts was a 23% move. It was on one currency pair. It was kind of insane, actually. I've seen shifts commonly too that get into the 16, 17, 18, 19%. That's not going to happen every week. Like this week, the best shift we have is a minus 10.59. We've had a week so far where the lowest shift was like in the 4s. Like that was the best shift we had, was like a negative 4 or a positive 4, something like that. That was the best one we had, and we went with it and it worked out. But sometimes that can happen too. So on weeks like that, which is probably going to happen more often as we approach the end of the year, so keep that in mind, that some of these shifts, especially when you see the scanner update the last 2 weeks of this year, you might see shifts that are pretty small. Now, those types of signals, I'd probably be okay with trading, assuming that I could get the sentiment and the shift to agree together. This week, you'll notice, like I said, several of these sentiment signals do not align with the COT signal. Okay, so that's okay. Like these are still good trades. In fact, so this is programmed to account, how big is the sentiment signal, like, and how strong is that versus how big is the COT shift signal, all of that, it takes into an account, and it kind of transmits an overall signal. So the overall signal is still to sell the euro yen. It just would be preferred if sentiment could be aligned as well. But the shift data is so strong that it's still considered a sell this week. So just wanted to clarify that whenever you're looking at the scanner. Yeah, so anyway, these are, I would try to, when you're going through the scanner, try to focus on the shifts that are the biggest. When you filter this the other way, you'll notice the biggest positive shift is the NZD CHF. That's the best positive shift. So that's really not that big. So that's why I've been talking in the webinars this week and posting on the Telegram that these are kind of your big ones right here. And those just happen to be the ones that we've taken together in the, we posted these as weekend trades, the euro yen, all the way down to this all the way down to this euro Aussie are the trades this week. I haven't looked at some of these others, to be honest. Let's actually look at some of these others, like the euro pound. That was the cutoff. I didn't take a euro pound sell. Has that actually gone down this week? I don't know. I honestly, I'm just looking at stuff. Yep. Oh wow, that is definitely down this week. So that signal worked out great. Let's see, pound yen was a sell this week. I believe that one did very well. Yeah, it's done good. It's done pretty well. It's coming up a little bit right now, but overall been pretty good. And Aussie yen sell. Let's see how that looks. Yep. Pretty much anything against the yen has gone down because the yen has been really positive this week. The Japanese yen is really strong, which is causing these currency pairs to come down. Okay, anything with the yen as the quote, it's pretty much come down. That's why you'll see here in the top 6 trades, 4 of the top 6 have the yen as the quote currency, and there's a reason for that. It's because the yen is so the yen is so strong right now. That's why. Let's see. Lee says, I also noticed last week we had larger shift numbers, even though everything hit stop loss. Yeah, sometimes that can happen. I think it had more to do with the news event. Right. CPI came out on Tuesday, and it kind of shook the world. It kind of shook everything up. The directions that were decided the week before were shaken up. You'll notice that that move was pretty violent last week on practically every single currency pair. NAS 100, US 30 also took off during that. Gold, silver took off. Oil took off during that same period. Everything just took off during that period, and I think that kind of threw off the shift signals. Yep. Yeah, I think that had more to do with the news. Which is something to consider. I mean, like, let's talk about that for a second, right? Like, there's news can definitely throw this off, but I mean, even the week before that, we would have made more. What was it, 3 weeks ago? Right here. Do you guys remember this? Not this week, not last week, but the week before, we made the 1,006 pips. Had we not closed out those trades just before that news event and just stayed in the entire time, we would have made even more on those trades. Like, it would have, because I got back in like 20-30 minutes right after that news event came out. Like, we got the green light, everything looked good, so I got back in, but I had already missed out on a lot of those pips for the week, just in that 30-minute period. So that's the frustrating thing too, is like, some news events just do us absolute charms. Things just go in our favor big time. And other news events, like CPI last week, just threw a wrench literally in everything. And even some of our trades last week were doing fine before the CPI came out. And then CPI hit, I woke up, I had like 20 different text messages saying that we had stopped out. It was not a fun morning to wake up to. Not fun at all. I wake up a little bit later, so part of it's because I live more towards the west side of the country, and so my time zones, we don't get up as early, as the east does. So, if I want to be up for a news event, I usually have to get up a lot earlier. If a news event's scheduled for 8:30, Eastern, and then I have to get up at, before 6:30 to see that. That's fine. It just means that, it kind of throws a wrench in everything else that I do. So a lot of the times I just don't even look at the news events until after the fact. Or we'll just close them. Like NFP, one of the things that we've decided to do with NFPs is just close right before the NFP, whether it's the night before or just 30 minutes before, because NFPs, if you think about it, those are at the end of the week on a Friday, and we close Friday anyway, so you might as well just take your profits, and or if you're losing, just take your L's, take your losses or your profits early, because it's just appropriate to do so at that time anyway. So, and the other thing that we've concluded to do is, like, if it's an FOMC meeting, if it's a week where we have FOMC, go ahead and take half of your profits and or half of your losses if you have both on an FOMC meeting. Just take half of it, put it away by Wednesday morning, and then just leave the rest of the trades. Let's talk a couple things we have to do today, guys. So today I do want to see if we can get into some more setups. This is actually the last webinar of the week, so appreciate you guys coming and taking the time. I'm taking time off to be with family this week. I'm doing a lot of different things, and I hope you guys do the same thing and kind of rejuvenate. Let's hopefully these trades continue out decently enough to lock in some profits tomorrow. I'm thinking that we will lock in some of it and leave the rest until Friday type of thing tomorrow. But I will be updating things and I'll still be looking for new trade setups throughout the week in Telegram. So we'll be communicating that way. You can also reach me through email. Like, I'm not going to be completely away. I'm still going to have my computer, still going to be texting and calling. So feel free to communicate with me throughout the entire week. We just won't be doing official webinars until next Monday, right? But yeah, don't think that I'm not available. I totally am available, just not doing webinars. Okay, so let's talk about that. So we're gonna let these trades continue to ride out, at least the weekend trades. So these trades, all 6 of these are still going, and then 5 of these 6 are still going over here with leveraged funds. So we're gonna leave all of these moving with no changes. Let's check the news. Let's double check though. Let's take a look and see if there's anything coming up that we should be aware of. Well, there is an FOMC meeting today, actually. We just don't have a Fed rate hike today. It's interesting. They don't usually do it on a Tuesday. So there is an FOMC meeting tomorrow. There's a speaker with Aussie unemployment claims with the U.S. Okay, so that's interesting. There's actually a decent lineup of stuff. Yeah, it's kind of funny right here that on Thursday, Europe decides to do all of their news events when we're having our holiday. That's not all of them. I'm just saying that's a lot. So pretty much every day there's something going on. Okay, so that's good to know. This is a lot of pips, guys. That's 525 pips. That's a lot. I'm trying to figure out what to do with that. That's a lot to have by Tuesday. I mean, I think that's possible. So let's actually look at the charts on some of these. So this is the Euro Yen. This is one of our best trades. This guy, like, when I look at this, let's actually break this down. Let's find out where our higher time frame demand zones are. So this is our best trade of the week, Euro Yen. Per the shift, this thing is just super negative and for good reason is falling off a cliff right now. Where's demand on here? So let's pull up these indicators. Let's find demand. So let's go order blocks, and here's Lux Algo. Let me pull up Sonar Lab, and let's get the order blocks with signals from Sonar Lab. Oops, why is that doing that? This has been really weird recently. I think, where is There is a, this is weird. There it is. Let's delete that. All right, let's add the order blocks from Sonar Lab. And let's go to the higher time frame with this now on, and let's start at an hourly, and let's see where the demand is. Okay, so here's what we've hit so far, for example, on the euro yen. So this is the best trade, and you guys can see that throughout this week we've had a series of selling blocks right through here, so that's just sent the market lower and lower. We hit a little demand block right here. And right now, the market's trying to figure out what the heck it wants to do next, because right now you've got several of these wicks right here. This is actually a good sign for bears, because notice how this is, it's trying to make an attempt to the upside, but every single time it tries to go up, it gets pushed right back down by these wicks. That's a good sign, especially this current one right there. That's a beautiful candle. That candle looks really good. So hopefully it can close similar to that. I mean, that's basically happened while we've just been talking here, that one candle. But if that one can close exactly like that, or even go down, that's beautiful, because that's just a just an upside down hammer type of thing. And that, if you're leaving that wick naked up there, just perfect like that, that just tells the rest of the market that hey, this is struggling to go up. Yeah, this is an engulfing candle right here. Yeah, sure, like that's that bullish candle is engulfing, and sure, it would be a bullish signal, except the thing is there wasn't any follow through behind it, and there's been a series of candlesticks since then. So could it have an effect on sending the market higher? Sure, but I think it would have happened by now, because right now the current candles are not they're not bullish candles. These are bearish candles, especially the one that we're in right now. If, like I said, if it can close like that, that looks good. We'll see if it actually does do that. Let's see. The next stopping point, what I'm saying is, if this area doesn't hold, because this is the most natural place to pause and maybe even go up for a little bit. If this area doesn't hold, where's the next stopping point? Where is this going to go? Probably in all likelihood down here to this demand. And that's still another, like, there's a lot, like, if this gets down to there, that's a good amount of money, guys. Like, if we could get another 80 pips per trade, especially on this one, like, I'm just assuming that we're going to get about 60, 80, 100 pips on each trade. That's going to be another 1,000 pip week if we can get down to there. Because we're already up 500 to 600 pips on every single trade. Or not on every trade, but across the 6 shift trades. That's gonna give us another 1,000 pip week on shift positions, if we can get down to there. And that seems like the most natural stopping place. Let's look at a higher time frame. Let's see where the demand. Yeah, same thing. It's just right in here is where the demand is. Let's try a 3 hour. Yet right in here, and I just don't think we've quite tapped into it yet. We've tapped into a few. This is a 4 hour. Let's try a daily. Yeah, daily's not going to give us what I'm looking for, but yeah, that's it right there. So that makes me think there's more to go on the euro yen. Let's look at some of our other top signals. The franc yen's another good one. Let's go take a look at the franc yen. This one's popped up a little bit, found some demand this morning right in here. It's actually coming up into some supply, so we'll see if that supply holds and sends it lower again. But if this thing wants to continue down, it's similar to the euro yen. Like, most of this demand is really not until like this area right here, and we really haven't tapped into that yet, which makes me think that this move to the upside is short-lived, and that will probably end up coming down. Let's that's how I view it right now. Let's look at the USD yen. Found some demand this morning right in here. Let's see where this all is. Yeah, I mean that's a decent area actually where it came into this morning. I have my eyes set on this stuff right here. That's where I think the market wants to go. That's where I think that most of the demand is tied up. I don't think it's in here as much. It's already been tapped into as well, right in here. So, but this area has not been tapped into yet. This area I just drew out. So I think, again, there's like another 100, well, let's see, 80 to 100 pips to go. Yeah, exactly. Let's look at Euro Kiwi sell this week and the CAD yen sell. Wow, this one's been falling pretty good. This is nice. Yeah, this is the demand zone. Right here, we're pretty much in it. It's surprising that it hasn't been able to break up from here, which is kind of what you would expect right here. But I think part of it might be due, and we talked about this yesterday on this pair, is that this pair has been, let's turn these off, had an apex high up here, and then since then it's just made lower highs after lower highs after lower highs, and even lower lows after lower lows after lower lows. So maybe it's not so surprising after all, because there's no real, you can't hang your hat if you're a bullish trader. Like if you're trying to find a buy opportunity, not that we are, I'm just saying for those that are out in the world looking for buy opportunities, they really don't have anything they can hang their hat on this move, right? Like all of this is a sequence of bearish activity. And so, maybe that's, even though naturally this is a stopping place and sure has stopped to some extent for the time being, maybe this market actually goes right through that because there's nothing the bulls can hang their hat on, which makes me believe, okay, well then where's the next demand zone? So I look at this and I say, okay, well, where's the demand? Let's try a higher time frame. Let's go to like a 2 hour. Where's the real demand? And maybe in here, let's try 3 hour maybe. Well, yeah, well, the next logical area is honestly this down here. So if this area doesn't hold, then, and there's nothing the bulls can hang their hat on, then we're going to go down to here by the end of the week, which would mean this pair has another 100 pips to go. That's why I'm saying this could definitely wind up being, I mean, it does kind of depend on this market not going back up, right? Like we don't want to see that. There is, like I said, an FOMC meeting today. It's not with a rate statement, so hopefully not expecting some crazy things. But the other part of me is like, maybe we should just take some profits to lock this in. Let me look at these trades again. It would be nice to make sure that we lock some of that in. And we're not meeting again either. So I do think, let's put it this way, guys. It would be a total tragedy, in my opinion. Like I'll say this right now, this is my big call out for the week, I guess. If I had to pick something based off of how I'm seeing most of these line up, especially this one, I really like this one for a sell, even though we're at demand. I think it would be a total tragedy to be flat right now. If you were to like close all your trades and just say, I'm out, I'm taking my profits, I think that's might be like the worst thing you could do. Like, yeah, I'll just say that, because a lot of these look like this one. Everything here is bearish. That whole formation I just showed you is bearish. Okay, this is nothing there should tell you, huh, that's a buy. Nothing there should tell you that. Okay. I don't know if you're seeing a buy, like, tell me why, because I'm not seeing it. Like, that price action's not bullish. Okay. Everything here is bearish. Okay. And the COT data tells us to sell as well. So taking your profits, or at least closing the entire basket of trades, like, give me a solid reason why that's the case, other than just, oh, there's some news coming out, right? I don't see it. I don't see a reason to get out. And so the biggest tragedy would be to take your 500-600 pips of profit and then find out by Friday that you could have made 1,200 pips, 1,000 pips. Okay, that's the big tragedy I don't want to happen to you, because if you take all of your profits, and even though it feels good right now, what happens when we have a week like last week, which is normal? Like, those weeks are normal to have a loss. Like, how are you going to, you know, all of your profits that you felt good about taking are going to be swallowed up by a losing week, right? So we do really need, when things are going well, we do really need to let those winners just really play out. We need to take those profits as much as, or we need to let those profits go as much as we can. So, like I said, I think I don't think it's a bad idea to take some of your money off the table, just because it has been already really good, and we've been at full capacity. We've been full position all the way up to this point, and we've caught a lot of this move already. Where I think it would just be terrible is if you just close the whole thing, because you'll be, you know, especially if these things, I've seen this happen to so many people. Like, let's say tonight and this afternoon, things just get even better with our trades, and you close out your positions. The FOMO is going to kick in, and you're going to want to get back in. But the thing is, you already missed out on the move, right? That's the thing that stinks. So it's a balance between trying to get the best of both worlds. Like, okay, well, yeah, we already caught most of this move for the week. I do believe we already caught the majority of it. Like, let's see, where did this move start? Yeah, so this is where everything started, was in this yellow area. Depending on where you got in on Sunday, that could vary quite a bit depending on how early you got in. It looks like the earlier the better would have been nice. But even if you got in later, you're still doing just great. So most of this move for the week has already taken place. Okay, so, you know, congrats there. Like, give yourself a pat on the back if you held on up to this point, because you're doing really, really well. But there is still, like I said, a good chance that we'll go from here down to here by the end of the week. And that's another third of the way to go, right? That's another third of the way to go. And so booking your entire position would be a total tragedy, because that third is what keeps you profitable. Like I was showing you here on the journal, we've made 500, we're up 525 pips so far the week. Just, again, that's where I'm at. You might be up more, you might be up a little bit less, but that's about where you should be for the week. That's already recovered last week. We've already recouped last week, just from that right there. And there's probably more to go. There's probably more to go. So that's my thoughts, is that how do you get best of both worlds? I think it's okay now that we've caught 2/3 of what I believe the move of the week is going to be. I think it's not a bad idea to close like half your position, especially as we start to wrap, kind of like cool things down already for the week, because as we go into the holiday. But I do think it would be just the biggest tragedy to close your entire basket of trades. So just wanted to make that very clear, guys. Very, very clear. I think the biggest loser will be the person that closes everything out, right? Because and then if you want to be risky-roo, I think you could leave just the whole thing going. I don't think that's you're basically playing with just house money. you're basically just playing with house money. So I think you could just leave, like if you wanted to just leave it open, you could. And I would say you have a higher than 50% chance of being more successful by Friday and closing Friday than you would just closing everything right now for what you've got. But I don't know that for sure. It's just that's how I'm reading things. It's how I wish I had a crystal ball. I guess that's what I'm trying to allude to, is if I had a crystal ball, I would show you. I would tell you what to do that way, but based off of how I'm reading this, is it looks like there's a good chance. I'm optimistic about further profits by the end of the week, but I also am aware, and I didn't even know until now, so I'm glad we checked that together, that there are several news events every single day this week on lots of different currencies. So that could either help us or it could not. So to get the best of both worlds, it seems not like a bad idea to take some of your positions and then leave the rest to ride, so that you can get the best of that world too, right? Yep. All right, guys. So let's read some of these comments here. So, okay, Goodly, yep, answered your question. Perfect. Johnny says, I was up over 900 pips this morning, now back to 736 pips. Thought about closing out. Yeah, no, and that's not a bad idea, Johnny. Like I always think that too. My thoughts are maybe close out, like I said, a partial position, but definitely don't close out the whole thing. I think that's the, which would feel worse. Yeah, it's actually, that's a good thing to ask, maybe. Yeah. Which would feel worse, taking all 700 pips right now for profit, or knowing that that would have actually doubled by Friday? I think that's a terrible feeling to know that you could have doubled your money by Friday, if you, which actually has there's a chance for that. There's a good solid case for that, as I've just shown you on the charts. There's a solid case for that. And we're in the best, and it's awesome because when you're already up and you're already profitable and you're working with house money, like that is the position you want to be in, to try to let them just keep going, right? But it's so hard because, you know, we did have a losing week last week, right? And so there's this feeling of like, I got to take all of this, right? I know that. So I think the best way to satisfy everything, you kind of get the best of both by closing some, but, and when I say closing some, keep all trades open, but just taking half your position off. You can do that on MT4. You can actually just reduce your position. You can just close half your lot size. That's one way to do it, but it still keeps your same stop loss, keeps everything else in check, so nothing moves that way. I think that's not a bad thing to do. I think that's really good. So I might end up doing that this morning, actually. Lee H says, after a couple of bad weeks, I brought my prop firm challenge back to net zero this week. That's good. That's actually really good spot to be, especially because then you don't have to mess with your lot size to try to salvage a prop firm, because I've had prop firm challenges. I actually had to do that with a prop firm challenge back in early October. I had to take a prop firm challenge that I unfortunately drew down to like 6%, 7% drawdown. So I only had 3 or 4% left to work with. So I had to, I had to make the difficult decision to go back down to a smaller contract, and kind of work it back up. And that one's now, I had the same thing. It's now back up. It just kind of stinks because had I actually stayed at that normal contract size, I probably would have been, you know, even past by now, or at least, you know, very positive. But, you know, what are you going to do? Like, you have to protect those accounts, and sometimes it just means you have to be more patient with them. But you're in a good spot then if you're positive again. You can move stops in the money. I think I prefer to book partial positions. Just because there's a chance for whipsaws this week with news events, and like we're going to have lower volatility. for the rest of the week. We had our big days already. Like here we are getting to the end. Like London closes in 15 minutes, and here we are Tuesday. New York has mostly done its thing for the day as well. There's a few more hours of that maybe, but that's kind of it. So most of the money that was to be made this week has probably already been made. Okay. Which is good because we are up quite a bit. But I think it would be good to lock some of that in. But again, there's still a really good chance. I will tell you this, guys, like November's usually a great month, and so far that's been the case. And so people ask me like, should we trade this next weekend? And I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. Because usually I don't know what it is. It seems like I've never really had a losing week the week of Thanksgiving. It just seems like every Thanksgiving week the market just gives. Just every single, I don't know what it is, but so yeah, absolutely full force this week. But yeah, I think it's not a bad idea. I've woken up on Thanksgiving mornings and I've been like really pleasantly surprised on Thanksgiving mornings. So I'm not saying it will or not. I'm just saying I typically have. And that's with just all strategies. I don't know what it is. It just seems to work really, really well. Gotcha. Oh, Johnny, you said I was thinking about the 900. No, the 700. I'm going to let it ride till Friday. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think that's a smart idea. I think that's actually really smart. Because and actually, let's look at a few of these others. So like this Euro Kiwi definitely has a strong case to get to here by Friday. Only has a third of the way to go. That could easily be accomplished by Friday. And then let's see, which other ones do we have? The Euro Aussie. Okay, yeah, here you go. Same thing. This is just all bearish, guys. This is just all literally what you want to see if you're a bearish trader. Where is this one going to go? Let's pull up the order blocks. Where are the order blocks here? There is a little bit right here, but we're busting through it. So where's the next order block? Down in here. So how far does the Euro Aussie have to go by the end of the week? You know, somewhere down to here, and that's only, how many pips is that? Yeah, it's like 100 pips. So there's definitely money to be made, I think, by the end of the week if you're patient. In fact, I'm feeling pretty good about it. So I'm like, maybe I might not even close half. I might just close like a third, honestly, because I do want to take advantage of that if that happens. Again, I don't know if it will. Everything just seems to, the price action just seems to line up right. Everything's just mostly lining up pretty good. And so I'd like to see if I can take advantage of that if possible. So I might close a third. I might do that and just leave the stops where they're at. If you want to move your stops, I don't think that's a bad idea. I just noticed in the last several weeks, seems like if we move the stop losses, it just really messes people up. Okay, so let's see. Okay, as far as other trades go, guys, are there other opportunities we can get into this week? Yes. Like as far as price action trades go. So there are a few other trades you could take. Like for example, I'm eyeing this one right here. This is the Euro franc, or this is the franc yen, excuse me. So this one had a nice little break of structure going on right here. Let's talk about this. So this is a nice little structure point right through here. You can see all of that kind of touch. And then what you've got going on is a nice order block right here. And we just tapped into it, actually. So this might not be a bad entry. So this franc yen has the potential to pull back. Now that it's come up a little bit, you could put your stop right there on the other side of the block and then let this thing fly down to some of these blocks down here. That actually could be a really good trade. If you wanted to capture this block up here too, you could increase your stop loss. I don't know if that's necessary, but you could make your stop loss a little bit bigger just in case the market does try to attack that block before it comes down. So this is a trade I've been kind of thinking about getting into as like a midweek trade, and this one's lining up pretty much like right now. If you wanted to do that, another way to do this is instead of getting into it on the way up, you could see if this thing starts to break down again, and as it starts to break down, then you get in type of thing. It's up to you. I want to look at one more, like this euro yen. Yeah, this is good, guys. So wow, this is good right there. See that candle?
Hey traders, it's Steve from the future. I hope you have enjoyed this video so far. If you are getting value out of this video, be sure to hit the like button, click the subscribe button, and share your trading thoughts. I read all the comments, so feel free to ask any questions you have there too. On a side note, I host live trading calls like this one you are watching every day. Some of my biggest trading secrets I share exclusively to just the members in my program. I host these live trading calls every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I also host a basic training webinar every Monday for the newer traders and the regular COT report and sentiment trading webinars every Wednesday night at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern for the advanced and aspiring traders. All of these calls are recorded and promptly posted on the members' trading calendars at the conclusion of each call in case your schedule does not permit you to come to the live call. All of my members have complete access to the scanner. We call it Steve Scanner. This is an institutional grade trade alert scanner that picks the direction of the week on all 28 major currency pairs and includes trading instruments like gold, silver, NAS 100, US 30. Just in the last 90 days, I have made over 3,000 pips just taking the top trade signals from the scanner at the beginning of the week and then just holding those trade alerts until Friday. If you want access to the scanner, you can start a 14-day free trial with the join link in the description to get started. Lastly, if you really want to be a full-fledged VIP member of my program to get access to things like the basic training course, live signals channel, Steve Scanner, trading calendars, and the one-on-one calls with me throughout the month, you can use code Friend of Steve, that's Friend of Steve, no spaces, at checkout and save $50 on your first month. Again, just click the link in the description below and apply that coupon to become a VIP member, and I look forward to helping you with your inevitable trading success going forward. Now, back to the video.
That is in the middle of a downtrend, and it just formed that candle. And we did a cool webinar yesterday. If you guys haven't watched it yet, we did a webinar on patterns. That was a good webinar if you want to go back and watch it. I think we'll be posting that on the basic training videos just because it was a pretty good one. But if you want to go watch it yesterday on the calendar, that was pretty good. That's a pennant pattern right there on a 15-minute. So it's a pennant pattern that's built into a downtrending market. I would say this just looks pretty bearish. You know, there's probably more in the tank to go here. I don't think that's done yet, right? Yeah, I don't think it's done yet. Okay, what else? Yeah, so if you wanted to get into another trade, I think this would be your guy right here. I'm just trying to figure out how I would want to get into this. Like, do I want to just get in at market? Do I want to wait for this to come up a little bit more? That's what I'm trying to debate right now on this franc yen. We could also, now I'm just trying to think how I want to do this. Because we've already tapped into those order blocks right there. And then the next area of interest is down in here. So that was kind of my thoughts, is if we sold around here, we could ride this all the way down into, yeah, about there. That's kind of what I was thinking. I think this is a good trade. I might actually play a little bit loose with that stop loss right there, just to give it a little bit of extra, so we can go at market and let this guy roll. I think that's not a bad trade. This entire area's liquidity right here. I think this is a good trade. Liquidity. So I'll go ahead and take this trade at market with you guys. As just a, if you, now you don't, by the way, you don't have to take this trade. This is a different strategy. Yes, we're using the scanner as a basis for taking this type of a trade. Yes, we're using the shift signals to figure out what to trade this week. Yes, we're using price action, all that kind of stuff, but this is a price action midweek trade. So if your strategy is to take those trades, then go ahead and take this. Now, if that's not in your system because all you do is take weekend trades, then just enjoy the knowledge that you're getting here and don't feel the pressure of taking this trade. Because I just want to make sure it's very clear that you guys stay true to your rules. Whatever your game plan is to get funded or going forward with your own prop firm account or your own live account, that's more important than missing out on a trade that may or may not work in your favor. Okay. I'm excited about this trade, and I'm going to take this in a couple of live accounts, but it's not required that you take this. I just want to make sure that's very clear that I applaud your consistency more than the money that you're making. That's me as your coach. That's what I get excited about, is you finding consistency and doing something over and over and over again with a with a reasonable expectation of results going forward, right? That's what I get excited about. I actually don't care too much about how much money you're making right now. I care more about that you're finding consistency and confidence. Because anybody can make a bunch of money on a single trade. I've done it many times, but can you trade something over and over and over again and still become profitable over time? See, that's how last week was. You know, we had a losing week last week with our weekend trades, and that, for a lot of people, if they're new to trading, that would have been it. They'd be like, I'm never going to trade again because they had a losing week. But there's so much more to the trade than just the trade itself not working out. It's the risk management, and then the ability to come back the next week. And even if you had a losing week, could you come back and do that all over again? Could you do that? You know, I'm really excited. I heard this is, oh, by the way, this is a sell market, so this is different. I was really excited. I had a couple of traders start prop firm challenges this weekend, even after a losing week, and I was like, that's it. That's awesome. That they're confident in themselves sufficiently to be like, you know what? Even though I had a losing week, I trust my system. I trust myself to be consistent enough to do this over and over again, that it doesn't really faze me anymore if I have a losing week, because I've specified how much that loss is. I've defined that so well that I could just do that over and over and over again. So winning and losing is part of trading, but there's so much more to it than just, did I have a losing week or did I have a winning week? You know, this is a winning week, but we got to make sure that we capture most of these profits and stay consistent, right? Okay, let me go ahead and put this together. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. Put your questions in the chat box if you guys have other questions you'd like me to get to before we wrap up here, and then we'll go ahead and get this posted and go ahead and wrap up our week early. You know, early week to wrap up. Okay, so we've got Frank Yen. This is a short. This is a sell market. We're going to sell at, you know, just at market 167.493. Take profits at 165.687 stop loss at 168.210. Okay, perfect. That looks like a good trade. Lee says there's some Black Friday discounts on some prop firm challenges. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I bet they're doing Black Friday deals, guaranteed. No, that's awesome. And if you guys ever want to talk to me about different prop firms, I'm more than happy to discuss the pros and cons of different ones, and my opinion. I'd be more than happy to share that with you guys if you ever have some questions on prop firms you're thinking about signing up for. But let's go ahead and wrap this up. So good game plan. So I'm actually going to make an update here in the next like 30 minutes. I'm probably going to close out a third of my positions. The lot size. So what that looks like, for example, guys, is let's say I have a position, it's a full contract. Okay. I'd close out a third of that. So we'll say a 0.33 contract is approximately a third. So I'd close out 0.33, but leave the rest to ride the rest of the week. Nothing changes with the stop loss, just everything keep it going. So that's what I'm thinking about doing, is just, booking some of my profits, but leaving the rest of this to go. Because there's a good chance we could really milk this thing by the end of the week. There's a lot more profits to be made, and I don't want to miss out on that by having too small of a position. Okay. What real money firm do you recommend? What Funded Trading Plus? That's the one I use. By the way, I know there might be deals this weekend, but if you ever want to start a Funded Trading Plus prop firm, I'm going to put this in the chat box. If you use code Trading with Steve 10 with Funded Trading Plus, they are a real money prop firm, so they fund you with real money, not demo money. And if you use code Trading with Steve 10, you'll save 10% at checkout. Funded Trading Plus. Okay. Actually, a lot of you have already used that code before, but for those of you that are shopping for prop firms, if you ever want to start with a real money prop firm, Funded Trading Plus is a good one. I've been funded with Funded Trading Plus. They're really good. I've done multiple challenges with them, and they're fantastic. I like them. So, okay. So, well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, early. Feel free to contact me throughout the rest of the week. Feel free to send me messages, emails. We can chat. If you need a quick call, we can take a call. I will be available throughout the week. We will be posting signals and updates on Telegram. Feel free to catch up on any webinars that you've missed out on. And I think that's about it. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for coming.